service, huh? Okay, I gotta put this on. All right, so Roxy found me a cute joke, so I'll tell this one. And I have some wonderful quotes. But this one, this one's cute. An inspiring monk asked to enter a temple and attach himself to a guru. Very well, said the guru, but the students here observe a vow of silence. You'll be allowed to speak only once every 12 years. After the first 12 years, the student said that the bed is too hard. After another 12 years, he said, the food is not good. 12 more years later, after 36 years of hard work and meditation, he said, I quit. Good, snapped the guru. All you've been doing is complaining. I know, cute, right? But it's so true. A guy, 36 years. Come on now. So funny. I love it. That was good, Roxy. Awesome. They're still laughing. I like it. Okay, well, a couple of things, as I was, meditating and being with this talk title, because where is it? Oh, Positive Papas and Role Models. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. So a lot of the movies, think about some of the movies that you've seen. So I looked at them and I'm like, how about Mr. Mom? Remember Mr. Mom?
Yeah.
With Michael Keaton? That's a good role model. So if you want to go watch that, these are some of the movies you can watch on Father's Day, right? And then 3 Men and a Baby. Come on. Yeah. So that one's a classic because it shows the nurturing side of men. And like you were talking about your dad. And it's the same thing. So there's this wonderful nurturing side. And I was watching my son a lot with my granddaughter. When she was a baby, she wouldn't hug or anything. It was like if you gave her food or gave her a bottle, she would otherwise pushed you away. I am not kidding, as a baby. So my daughter and her husband would be so upset because his child wasn't affectionate, but some babies aren't born that way. So now when she gives him a hug, I just watch his face going, oh, and he just loves it. And the thing that he does to empower her, he tells her, he says, and he says this before she goes to bed at night, what are all the things? I am powerful, strong, intelligent, magnificent, and she lists 10 or 12 things. And he has her do that every single day. And so that's a thing we can do not just for our children, but for other people's kids, right? And then to empower them and to allow them to blossom, because those positive messages, and I look back, I was in this teaching like part way with my daughter growing up, but I wasn't, in the beginning, I was like that monk, okay? Oh, I'm broke, I'm this, I'm that. And so this teaching that we learn here is because my dad was a little negative, he had the great things, but we have to move out of the negativity in our lives because that's in our society. And we call that race consciousness. And race consciousness means that we get it from other people in the world. We get it from the news. We get it from just being and having the energy around us. So we can have a choice and make a difference. So one of my favorite movies of all time was called The Pursuit of Happiness. How many saw that? Okay, it's a true story about a man named Chris Gardner. And Chris Gardner, was really inspired me because when I saw that movie, I thought, how the heck did this guy get past all of these difficulties in his life? He had, and I was looking up, I wanted to look up more of the backstory because in the movie they show what he went through at a period in his life, but they didn't show how he was growing up and that his father was abusive and he was beaten and all of that. So you go, how did this guy make it, with that? And a lot of you said, I don't want those qualities in my life, so I want to have the positive qualities. And so he had a lot of maternal uncles that had a profound influence on him. But he said his mother, even though she had a lot of issues, that she was a positive source of inspiration and strength. And she encouraged him to believe in himself and to become self-reliant. And she said this one quote, you can only depend on yourself. The cavalry ain't coming. Isn't that the truth? So if you don't know the story of him, what happened at one point in his life, he was selling medical equipment, and then the economy took a turn, and I don't know the time period. And he ended up, you know, in his marriage, and I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but he ended up separating from his wife, and then she took the child for a while, and then the movie, it's Will Smith and his real son in the movie. So when you watch this, it's fantastic.
So that's our homework.
Pardon?
That's our homework.
That's your homework. Yeah, watch it, because it will inspire you. If you're going through a tough time in your life, watch something like this, because it's going to help us to think, well, you know what, if he could get it or she can do it, I can do it too. And I know I've had times in my life, and I just have to watch something in order to move myself forward. But what ended up happening with him, and you'll see this in the movie, but it's also, and I thought, did they exaggerate that? But what happened is he decided that he was really great at math, and he at one time had worked in the medical field and actually doing medical procedures, so he was really, really good at that. And he decided, well, I'm going to quit selling these, you know, x-ray machines and what he had as a salesman because he wasn't making enough money, and he thought, I'm just going to go for it and become a stockbroker. And he was working as a intern with, it was Dean Witter Reynolds, and he didn't make any money from that. So while he's being an intern, waiting to get his Series 6 and Series 7 and all of the licenses that you have to have as a stockbroker, what happened is that he would take care of his child. They were sleeping in homeless shelters. At one time, he was in a, I think it was a Caltrans bathroom, had to lock the door so people wouldn't come in so he and his son could sleep. And he was doing that, and he never, ever complained, which is amazing. Nobody knew he was homeless. Nobody knew what was going on with him. And he just said, I'm going to, you know, make sure that I'm going to avoid all the things that happen negatively in my life, and I'm going to focus on the positive things in my life. So eventually, I think they showed this part in the movie, he was in kind of a, I don't know, I'm not going to say contest, or whoever won this contest was able to get a position at the stock brokerage firm. And he actually won. But what he did above and beyond what anybody else would do, first of all, this guy's taking care of his son. He was making probably 200 phone calls a day at least. Because when you're a stockbroker, it's like being an insurance agent. You have to get enough people and clients, and they call it assets under management. And so he was able to do that, but it wasn't easy. So he did above and beyond what he needed to do. And then I thought, well, gee, I wonder what the story is with him and what happened after he got a job as a stockbroker. And he became successful, and he worked really hard, and he was finally able to get an apartment for him and his son. But they were homeless, and he was doing that for 1 solid year. Now think about it. If you were out 1 solid year. So people asked him, what was the hardest part of that experience? He said the constant moving every single day, from room to room, place to place. And he said that was what was hard. And I thought, wow, that is so true, right? So it's really something, and that's why I'm saying, it's homework, watch it, because if he can do it and get out of the situation, anybody can do it. And I'm talking about any one of us who has a job problem or a health issue. And you know, it's recently I've been having this health issue for about 2 months now. And I'm thinking, wow, I have so much compassion for the people that have ongoing health issues for years and years and years. Wow. So all I think about is, okay, I'm getting better, this is great, I can walk, I can breathe. I mean, think about all the things that we have that we're not grateful for, and that's what he did, you know, and I believe that Chris Gardner did that as well, because he was able to look at his life and say, but I've got this going on, I have a great son, I have this career that I'm developing, you know, and he kept saying those kinds of things to himself in order to move forward.
And he told his son not to give up his dream.
Never, never to give up his dream. And that's really what it was. And he always took, and like he said he wanted to take from his bad childhood. He wanted to avoid, listen to this, alcoholism, domestic and child abuse, illiteracy, fear, and powerlessness. So he embodied the opposite of all those things, which I thought was fantastic. And it was really a catalyst. So sometimes things happen, I think some things happen in our life in order to move us forward, don't you? And to make us stronger. So I found, I just wanted to find one little thing with him. Okay, so he became after he became a stockbroker and he became successful, he was considered one of the most successful future traders in the world. He said he sold he created his own brokerage firm, Gardner Rich and Company in Chicago, Illinois. This is after all the homelessness. It's an institutional brokerage firm specializing in the execution of debt, equity, and derivative products. He started with startup capital of $10,000 with a single piece of furniture, a wooden desk that doubled as the family dinner table. The Rich in the name was in honor of commodities trader Mark Rich, who had no connection to the company. Isn't that fascinating? And then what he did after that, he started helping people. He sold his stake in Gardner Rich, and he became a CEO and founder of Christopher Gardner International Holdings with offices in New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. During a visit to South Africa to observe elections around the time of the end of apartheid, Gardner met with Nelson Mandela to discuss possible investment in South African emerging markets. He was planning an investment venture there which he hoped would create hundreds of jobs and introduce millions to foreign currency in the country's economy. Isn't that a trip? And then after that, after the pursuit of happiness, he does speaking around the world. He encourages people and he empowers them to get jobs and teaches them how to move forward in their lives, should they choose to. I mean, it's always choice, right? And so with that, look at that and see what we can do in order to move forward. So I wanted to share a couple of Father's Day quotes, which I thought were fantastic. But I love that story, don't you? Yeah. So great, so great. Okay, people, Father's Day. Father's Day quotes. No, that was a big story. Hold on. Here it is. Okay. So I was, you go through all the blogs. All right, so this is a person who wrote, she says, I wrote all these quotes for Father's Day. So here's like 4 or 5 of them. A father is someone you look up to no matter how tall you grow. Isn't that cute? Okay, then, any man can be a father. It takes someone special to be a dad. Oh, I know, you're gonna get all verklempt after this. My father didn't tell me how to live. He lived and let me watch him do it. My dad kind of did that too. And then dads are most ordinary men turned by love into heroes, adventurers, storytellers, and the singers of song. Oh, I know. Okay. A father is neither an anchor to hold us back, nor a sail to take us there, but a guiding light whose love shows us the way, as Lily was talking about. A father is someone you look up to, and we already did that, no matter how tall you grow, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, aren't those wonderful? They're really great. And, I was thinking yesterday, Art and I went and saw the drifters and the coasters. Oh, do you know those brothers are still alive?
Wow.
Okay? And all I kept thinking about, because they're wishing us Happy Father's Day. How old are those guys? Do you know, George?
They got to be in their 80s.
They've got to be in their 70s or 80s, but they were looking good. They were jiving, they were doing the moves, and all that. I mean, it was amazing and just incredible. And I thought, I bet those guys, brought the gift of song to so many people and encouraged them. Mm-hmm. Amazing. But it was so much fun. Okay, so last one, let's see. This isn't it. Happiness message, Father's Day. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and close it out with this story, and it just got me really. The story is told of a father of 5 children. Let's see, no, that's not the one. But this one was cute. This one was cute. The story is told of a father of 5 children who came home with a toy. He summoned his children and asked which of them should be given the present. Who is the most obedient one here? Who never talks back to Mom and does everything Mom says to do? He inquired. There were a few seconds of silence, and then all the children said at once, "You play with it, Daddy." Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. I know, so cute. Like, no, we haven't listened to Mommy. We're not doing that. Okay, so here's the story. I want to close with this. A man came home from work late again, tired and irritated. He found his 5-year-old son waiting for him at the door. "Daddy, may I ask you a question?" The dad replied, "Yeah, sure. What is it?" "Daddy, how much money do you make an hour?" The dad got mad and said, "That's none of your business. Why do you want to know?" The little boy said, "I just want to know. Please tell me, how much do you make an hour?" The dad, wanting to sit down and relax, said, "If you must know, I make $20 an hour." The little boy sighed and bowed his head. Looked up, he said, "Daddy, may I borrow $10, please?" The father flew off the handle. "If the only reason you want to know how much money I make is so that you can hit me up for some cash, you can buy some stupid toy, then you can march yourself straight to your room and go to bed. You're so selfish. I work long, hard hours every day and don't have time for this." This is the dark side of daddies. The little boy quietly went to his room and shut the door. The dad sat down and started to get even madder about the nerve of his little boy. How dare he ask questions about how to get some money? After an hour or so, the man had calmed down and started to think that maybe he was a bit hard on his boy. Maybe his son really needed the money for something important. And so the father went up to his boy's room and opened it. "Are you asleep, son?" "No, Daddy, I'm awake," replied the boy. "I've been thinking maybe I was too hard on you earlier. It's been a long day and I took it out on you. Here's that $10 you asked for." The little boy sat straight up beaming. "Oh, thank you, Daddy," he exclaimed. Then reached under his pillow. He pulled out a wad of crumpled up bills. The dad, seeing that the boy already had some money, started to get angry again. I know, right? The little boy slowly counted out his money and then looked up at his dad. The dad, now ticked off, demanded to know what was going on. "Why did you want more money if you already had some?" The little boy replied, "Because I didn't have enough, but now I know, Daddy. I have $20 now. I'd like to buy an hour of your time." I know, right? Oh, jeez. Okay. It reminds me of that song that I always hated, that Harry Chapin one, "Cats in the Cradle." Do not like that song. It's a sad song, totally sad song. And that's what it reminded me of. But so today, you know, in closing, just, you know, let's honor that the daddies we have, the male figures and the men in our life that give us so much and inspire us. And as Lily said, let's just bring love into the world. And that's really what it's about. So enjoy, have a fabulous Father's Day no matter what you do. And let's honor that masculine part of ourselves that is compassion and love and joy. And go out and have a fabulous week. Peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that we have a song from